Hey guys, Kelly Melody. I'm an operations manager for our real estate team in Jacksonville, Florida, and we have dialed in our real estate business financials with super simple systems, and I'm here to share what has worked for us to help you guys so you don't have the major struggles that we went through and help you put you on the fast track to financial success within your real estate business as well. So speaking of financial success, our story, a little bit of our story, last year, things were not great. My mega agent, our team leader, and I were having several conversations about if it's wise to continue with the team or just disband altogether, him go back in as a single agent, full-time real estate person, showing houses, listing houses, no team, just me being his catch-all admin for that. And that's where we were. Do we continue with the team or do we disband it? So we were on the verge of shutting everything down in 2019. We had several conversations to that effect. So we didn't want to let the rest of the agents and admin on our team down, and it was one last effort to do what we could do to save things. And we found an amazing book that helped us change our thought process when it comes to the business financials. And what we are used to and what we've learned growing up, what we've been taught in school, what we know about business finances is what's called the generally accepted accounting principles, the GAAP. And that tells us that our income minus our expenses equals our profit. And that's what we're left with. It makes sense. It's easy. It's very easy math. What comes in minus what goes out equals how successful your business is. What we found was we were making a profit, but the profit that we were making wasn't worth all the work and the effort and the energy that was going into making the business run the way it does. So for us, even though we were profitable, it wasn't worth it for us. And we knew something was going to have to change because the way our numbers were tracking, we weren't going to be able to stay open. It just wasn't sustainable. So our last ditch effort to make things work for our team, we picked up the book Profit First, which is an amazing book. It's hard to understand the first time you read it. I had to read it twice and let it sink in to understand all the concepts that the author talks about in the book. But once you let it sink in and you really think through what he's saying, it makes so much more sense to set your business up for success. So what it does is it takes those generally accepted accounting principles and flips them on their head. So, which is hard for us as humans when we have, a habit or a system or a way of thinking. It's hard to change that. So Profit First took what we know, income expenses minus expenses equals profit, and turns it on its head to where income minus profit minus a salary for your owner, which I'm not sure you're accounting for in expenses and the generally accepted accounting principles, but income, take your profit out first, then pay yourself, and what you're left with is your expenses. And what that did was ensure that we are first making a profit that makes running this business and all the effort and work that goes into it worth it for us. So we're automatically earning a profit right off the top. Second, our owner is being compensated for the effort that he's putting into running the business, fairly compensated, which wasn't the case in the other instance. And then finally, it's forced us to put some restrictions and be really smart about the expenses that we have. So overhauling what we have in place and making sure, is this helping our business grow and earn income? If it's not, then it has to go. So, which comes to the second half of the systems that we put in place, was monitoring those expenses, which we'll talk about in a separate video because I have another amazing system for that. But reading Profit First and implementing those systems, which was hard, but I've got lots of systems that I've put in place to make it easy and workable for our team, um, changed everything. So we implemented Profit First at the end of 2019. And since then, we've taken profit every month, and we are not exceeding on our expenses since we've got systems in place to manage our expenses as well. And we have a great little reserve in case something catastrophic happens, like, I don't know, a pandemic hits the world. It's 2020 right now, so we know coronavirus is a real thing, and lots of businesses are going out of business right now because they didn't have enough reserves saved up to keep them running through some type of catastrophe, which real estate is very vulnerable to with the housing market. We saw a crash, back in '08. So what this system does for us is it's setting us up with profit, with a reserve, and it's forcing us to be super smart about the expenses that we make. And since we've made this adjustment, our business has been super successful. We've got a super healthy reserve. We are able to have, through our expenses, our operating expenses, we have months in advance saved up, ready to pay, which is great. And even though, lots of businesses are going out of business and they're experiencing hardships, ours has not, because we, by chance, made the decision to put this into place before the coronavirus hit, and it set us up to be in a place where we've been able to ride through this storm, and be successful and still earn a profit. So I highly encourage you to read that book. If you have questions, if you've read Profit First, I'd love to hear your takeaways in the comments below and how it's helped your business as well. Thanks so much for listening. Hit the subscribe button for more.